They'll be ready to go here in a minute. Okay. N3PAW W5PCJ, can you see me online?
Stand by. Yes, sir, you are streaming now.
Okay, good. All right, good. Well, then hopefully the sound quality is okay on your side of things. Gonna have to figure out details on where to put the phone better. I just do a quick prop up, so hopefully that works.
Okay, Terry, sound quality is good.
That's what I wanted to hear. Awesome. I'll stand by. Let me get Amateur Radio Newsline up and running, and hopefully that'll it should work out pretty well. Good. All right, standing by. We're going to see what we can do here. This is an amateur radio net held in the Lufkin, Texas area.
CQ. Good evening and welcome to the Angelina Amateur Radio Association Roundtable Net. This net meets each Wednesday evening at 9 p.m. local time on the 147.260 repeater. This repeater has a positive offset and a tone of 141.3. You do not need to be a member of the Angelina Amateur Radio Association to participate.
Nope.
We welcome any and all stations to check in. We will acknowledge your break.
I can read your comments right down on the screen down here.
The term break.
Now.
All right, this is N3PAW. My name is Kevin. I will be your net control operator this evening. This is a very informal net, and its purpose is to answer any questions relating to amateur radio, general discussions, and to foster fellowship with other amateur radio operators.
We'll see how this goes. This is a dry run, guys, so we're just kind of making things happen the best we can.
At this time, we will ask for check-ins. Please state your call sign slowly and phonetically, along with your name and location. I will acknowledge each station individually, so please wait for me to do so.
2 trips are planned this year for young radio operators who are accepted into the Dave Coulter Memorial.
All right, roll first call sign here. Let's just run with it here. Is W5PCJ, Nacogdoches, Texas. Sitting in the house on my base radio here on the 147.26. Oh, that's too bright.
All right, acknowledging W5PCJ. Terry, next check-in, please.
From Amateur Radio.
KJ5, Victor. Robert Pope in my truck. Oregon,
That is like a really...
Okay, Robert, I've got your
Hold on,
first 3. Give me your last 3 again. You're a little bit scratchy.
Let's see if we can block a light with the shade.
I've got Zulu Victor. KJ5 something Zulu Victor. Okay, I believe I got it. India. KJ5IZV, correct? That's Robert. That's Robert. Oh. All right, we got you logged in, Robert. You're down in Huntington, correct?
Nice. Getting some local activity.
Typically, but at the moment I'm in Oregon headed towards Lufkin.
There we go. Got some mobiles out there.
Okay, we got you down as mobile. All right, good deal. Good to hear from you tonight. Next station, come in, please. Kilo Juliet 5, India Bravo Golf. The name is Jimmy.
Yep.
Fuller Springs.
Hi, Jimmy. Hey, Roger, I can see you there. Bring them on camera.
All right, Jimmy, KJ5.
This is kind of rough. I just got the phone sitting beside the radio. Here, quick view of the radio here.
Kilo India 5, Lima Romeo, Gary, Golf Alpha Romeo Yankee. Awesome walk.
Thank you. Let me set that back up. Hang on, guys. This is kind of impromptu, okay? Kind of like something we've been talking about for just a little bit.
All right, KI5LR. Good evening, sir.
Light
Station check-in coming out.
There you go. I'll just use my hat. Block that light out there.
Kilo Juliet 5, Alpha Whiskey Juliet, Dave and Trinity.
All right, good. We're in
All right,
business.
that was KJ5. What? I apologize, sir. What was your last three?
AWJ.
Evening, KB5ROD from
Said
W5PCJ.
AWJ.
It's good. Glad we can get our necks a little bit longer.
Alpha Whiskey Juliet.
All right, KJ5. AWJ. What was your name, sir?
This is what I'm talking about. This is the Photo
I'm
Pan radio.
calling from the south side of Trinity, Texas.
Now we're talking.
Sorry, I did not catch your name. You're a little bit fuzzy.
Oh, I can imagine that. It's David with a D as in Delta.
Is that loud enough for you guys to hear on the live stream? Just Roger, if you can give me a comment, can you hear things?
All right, that'll probably be it for our first round. We may pick up some along the way.
Not bad.
Okay, we're going to ask for any announcements. Anyone have any announcements? Come now.
W5PCJ with announcement.
All right, W5PCJ, go ahead.
All right, we are going to attempt to run Amateur Radio Newsline, the edited, shorter version. This is a real crude setup here, okay? So hopefully this mic can pick up that monitor and its speakers, which are cranked up a bit. And if it flows well, then y'all be able to hear it. It's about a 5-minute thing. I will take a 3-minute break once I figure out how to time that real fast, so that way I don't time the repeater. But it's basically news for amateur radio operators around the area of this repeater that can hear it. It's global amateur radio news. So, and this comes out once every week.
Okay, before we go forward with that, I do have one announcement. The meeting has been moved up to the second Thursday. That will put it April the 10th at Providence Church.
Hope this thing will pick up.
All right, are there any further announcements? If not, we're going to turn it
From
over
Amateur
to Terry.
Radio Newsline
Any
report
further
number
announcements?
2000.
It's KJ5IBG with a comment, more or less. Okay, go ahead, sir. Although its auto quality did sound a little distorted, I could make out everything David was saying. I don't know if you're having a little trouble on the north side of town, but...
Hey, Mike, maybe I see it in the comments.
Because he's coming off the repeater. I was just letting you know that I could hear it real well here. Copy that. I think I might have had my radio a little too loud. I've been overdriving my speaker on my end. Copy that. I'll turn it back to you, sir.
Well, we'll see how this goes.
All right, thank you for that, Jimmy. Okay, we're going to turn this over to Terry for just a minute. We're going to try something a little new tonight. I think it'll work. So, with that, Net Control turns it over to W5PCJ. Go ahead.
All right, this is W5PCJ. Now, what I'm going to do briefly is just play this. Net Control, I'm going to play it, and then I'm going to pause it. Let me know if you can hear it. There'll be a brief little sound effect in the beginning, but then you'll hear the audio from Mr. Don Wilbanks. So let me go ahead and kick this on real quick, and you let me know if you can hear it. Little sound effect.
From Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2473, this is Ham Nation Headlines for Wednesday, March 26th.
Okay, Kevin, could you hear that okay?
Yes, sir. It seemed to be a little bit crude, but understandable. Go ahead.
All right, we'll make refinements here as we go. Let me unkey the repeater, and then when I key back up, I will engage. W5PCJ, do a quick little reset. All right, here we go.
2025. Our top story takes us to Washington, D.C., where the U.S. Agency for Global Media has been earmarked for defunding. Voice of America, Radio Free Europe, Radio Free Asia, and Radio Marti are among the international news services that the White House says it is preparing to dismantle.
Voice of America, a shortwave service launched in 1942 during the Second World War to bring news to countries under authoritarian control, is among U.S.-based news programming for overseas audiences targeted in a deep cut by the Trump administration. According to various media reports, VOA employees have been notified that they were all being placed on administrative leave with full benefits, effective immediately. Cuts to VOA, as well as Radio Free Europe, Radio Free Asia, Radio Marti, and others, are the result of reductions taking place inside the U.S. Agency for Global Media, where these programs originate. These cuts are part of the ongoing downsizing of the U.S. government. The agency operates with congressional funding to deliver news in 64 languages to listeners around the world via 6 networks, some of which were created during the Cold War. VOA's first broadcast, made in 1942, was in German and was transmitted to German listeners to counter Nazi propaganda. The Agency for Global Media's mission statement reads, quote, "To inform, engage, and connect people around the world in support of freedom and democracy," end quote. On Friday the 15th of March, Trump signed the executive order for the cuts, noting in the language of the order itself that the services earmarked for reduction had been deemed, quote, "unnecessary," end quote. This is Kent Peterson, KC0 DGY.
Okay, guys, let me do reset the repeater. Kevin, did that come through okay?
Well, it's not ideal, but it did come through. In 3
Okay, it's a work in progress. And let me pick up the next part. Let me unkey and reset. Here we go.
They're home. Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams have returned from the ISS after an extended stay. Newsline anchor Stephen Kinford, N8WB, has details.
Tuesday night, March 18th, brought a safe splashdown at long last for Suni Williams, K-85 PLB, and Butch Wilmore, the 2 NASA astronauts, left stranded on the International Space Station for 9.5 months after their Boeing Starliner spacecraft malfunctioned. They splashed down inside the SpaceX Dragon Freedom capsule off the coast of Florida, along with NASA astronaut Nick Hug, KG-5 TMV, and Roscosmos cosmonaut Alexander Gorbanov. The 17-hour flight home ended a saga that began with what was supposed to have been only a short test flight aboard the Boeing Starliner in June.
2 trips are planned this year for young radio operators who are accepted into the Dave Coulter Memorial Youth DX Adventure.
The adventure promises to be twice as big for young amateurs participating in the Dave Coulter Memorial Youth DX Adventure experience in June and July. There are 2 trips planned. The first trip takes a group of youngsters to one of the top contesting stations here in the U.S. The young hams will serve as a team operating special event station W3Y from June 13th to the 15th. Hosted by the K3LR Multi Contest Station in Pennsylvania. In July, other young participants will be going to Curacao to another super contesting station to operate as PJ2Y. The program is being hosted for the 4th time by the Caribbean Contesting Consortium, PJ2T. This 4-day activation will take place from the 17th through the 22nd of July. Be on the lookout for applications for both of these trips. In the meantime, you can visit the team page to get more information. The website is youthdxa.org. These adventures reflect the spirit and support given the program by Dave Kalter, KB8OCP, the Youth Adventures co-founder. Dave became a silent key in November of 2013. This is Cell MB, KB3TZD.
W5PCJ for a quick repeater reset. Hopefully that's working out.
All right, Terry, is that the end of the newscast?
We have 1 minute and 4 seconds to go. Okay, with permission from Net Control, I'll wrap up the last minute. W5PCD, let me unkey the repeater real quick and reset the timer. This is crude, but if we're going to get it done.
Copy that. Wrap it up.
Here we go.
A reminder, the nominating period for the 2025 Bill Pasternak WA6ITF Amateur Radio Newsline Young Ham of the Year Award is now open. Since 1986, we've been honoring the best of the best young people in amateur radio for their efforts in expanding the state-of-the-art of the amateur radio service and using ham radio to make the world a better place. The nominations close on May 31st, and the presentation will take place Saturday, August 16th at the Huntsville Ham Fest in Huntsville, Alabama. You can find more information and the nomination form on our website, arnewsline.org, under the Awards tab. And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news since 1976 at arnewsline.org. With Ken Peterson, KC0DGY, Stephen Ken Ford and 8WB, Cell MB, KB3TZD, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT, at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe. I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW. 7-3, we'll see you next time here on Ham Nation.
Okay, that's the end of the broadcast. W5PCJ, back to Net Control. Now I can put my boom mic back where it goes.
All right. Thank you for that, Terry. Okay, tonight's net's going to be a little bit different. We currently have been doing trivia. We're going to forego the trivia tonight. We have some discussion topics.
Hey, Michael Gregory, long time no see. Christy Dickerson. Hey, all right. Wayne Ferguson, old neighbor. How's it going? Life is good.
If you don't feel like answering, don't. That's not a problem. We're just here to discuss the hobby. So,
we're doing a little radio today.
I'm going to ask for any late check-ins. If there's any late check-ins, come now.
Okay. That light's bright. Turn the mic around. There we go. Good go.
All right. Hearing none. Our first question. All of these are amateur radio related. So, the first question. Do you enjoy HF or VHF? Do you prefer one over the other? Is it about the same? And what are your goals?
Hey there, Cousin Doug.
W5PCJ. Terry, go ahead.
All right, W5PCJ Net Control. I mean, I like VHF for repeater operation like we're doing right now. It's, easy to hear, except for timeout timers, but we won't touch on that. But the HF side of things opens up a lot as far as different modes of activity, whether it be, voice, CW, the digital modes like FT8, Olivia, and more than I can remember. I don't know. I mean, I guess my favorite would probably be HF and probably 20 meters, the 20 meter ham band. So that would probably be, I would lean a little bit more HF wise. I don't run anything extensive for 2 meter or VHF. Just this little simple little ICOM ID880H, and it gets the job done. So that's it. I guess I lean a little bit more towards HF on that radio on 20 meters. So that's my comment. Back to Net Control.
All right. Thank you, Terry. I'm kind of with you on that. I really enjoy VHF, local communications, but HF is a whole other world, and I know there's a few on here that's going to agree with that, because I know one of them for sure is a big HF guy, but I'm learning HF, I'm getting there, and one of my goals, and Terry, you know this, is that 710. Yeah, I got my eyeball on that bad boy. Anyway, let's go to Robert, KJ5IZV. What are your comments, sir?
I just had a crazy idea.
still pretty new, so VHF.
I just have you a crazy idea. I have those now, dude.
I've known right now. But eventually.
There we go. Up.
Robert, I think we lost you. You still there?
Drop the fire.
Yeah. Let me try again, Kevin. VHF, that's all I know right now. So eventually I want to be able to talk to other people.
Copy that. Yeah, that's usually where everybody gets their start, is 2 meter, and kind of go from there. It's kind of like the gateway drug, if you will.
Example.
All right, let's go to Jimmy, KJ5IBG. Go ahead, sir.
When he's speaking about HTs for you guys that aren't hams, little radios like this little bow thing.
Let the repeater do the thing there. My
Pretty
answer
cool.
may surprise you. I actually prefer the HF. I haven't gotten to mess with it very much, and I have got so much 2 meter stuff. You know,
I know that person watching.
It ain't even funny. Now, I'm down at the
That'd be my
river
YL.
doing my thing. I like being able to have the handheld with a little rubber ducky and holler at you guys during the storm.
Hello, Randy
when
Jackson.
Camping, when we were looking at, you know, the space.
Quite a few there following.
UFOs in the sky. But once I
We're
get
trying something
a
different
little
today.
bit more in tune and get to play with this HF rig a little bit more, then
See, I'm in Nacogdoches.
That's where I'm leaning. And my goal
This
is
repeater
to upgrade
is in
so that
Lufkin.
I can get around and play on the
Can't do that with
40
CB.
and
Not
up.
this clear.
Get a little bit above 10 meters is my goal.
And I'm running maybe 15 watts.
All right, Jimmy. Thank you for that. Yeah, it don't come overnight.
Nope.
What I recommend is go ahead and get your general. If you're not already studying for it, that's going to give you the ticket right
Good to
there.
see you too, Wayne.
All right,
Good to
let's
see
go
you.
to
Life is
AI5
good. Take care of
Mr.
yourself.
HF himself. What are your comments, sir? Go ahead.
Uh-oh.
Shoot, man, I like HF.
Gary Antley.
I like VHF too. RN radio. I guess mode-wise on HF, I prefer to work the DX down in the very bottoms of the bands, which is CW. But I'm not that good at CW, and I've lost my CW translator. I've got to reload it and make it work again. But HF voice is pretty doggone hot too. We ought to be seeing some DX come up on weekends and stuff. We'll start looking for some contests coming along. We may find some good DX hiding around in there. And Lord forbid that we don't forget that we have a field day coming up. That might be something we want to go do somewhere too. On the VHF side, man, it's good to it's a good thing to have on the side of the bench while you're working your HF, so you can rub it into your buddies that you work somebody that they haven't worked yet, and it's another new one, and you can kind of get the things back and forth and kind of encourage each other to try harder. Okay, back to that, the Scout 5R.
All right, Gary, thank you. Yeah, I look at you as Mr. HF. You have the most experience.
This is
amongst
true.
all of us
He
on
does.
HF.
He's been at it for a
If anyone
while.
has a problem or a question, I always say go see Gary. He's got the answers.
That would make
I
him an
tell you
Elmer.
what, that's getting kind of sad because I'm still green behind the ears compared to some of these guys that won't get on the radio.
See, we have a lot of fun here at night. Bunch of great guys.
All right, thank you, Gary. Let's go to David over in Trinity, I believe. KJ58WJ. David, are you still with us? And have you had any experience with HF? Go ahead.
I'm looking at guys' call sign up right now.
All right, I think we've lost David. We'll
David
check back
Hancock.
in just a minute. Okay. Are there any late or missed check-ins that would like to check in? Come now.
Let's see here.
All right. Moving right along, our next question. Do you feel that ham clubs are a necessity?
Hey, cousin Donnie,
Interesting
just
question.
playing around the radio
I'm
tonight.
interested to hear the answer.
Every Wednesday night we do this.
W5 PCJ.
All right. Well, before I start, on the live stream we're running on Facebook, we have actually quite a few people watching. We had Wayne Ferguson, a neighbor of mine from down in Huntington, where I live down there. My cousin Doug Moon, of course, Tina's watching. Randy Jackson. Let's see if I can get my screen to move again here. Mike King, Joe King's brother up there in Maryland, he's watching. My brother Roger Fowles, KB5ROD, is watching from Atlanta, Texas. And, man, I got to get a better screen on this phone. Mike Mayberry's watching. That's good. Let's see here. Who else? Let's see. And my cousin Donnie Kaderka over in Central Texas is watching the live stream. So, great. We got a little bit of activity there. Now, I just blabbed all that, so could you... Here we go. Repeat the question one more time. I have to keep it short.
All right, not a problem, Terry. And I'd also like to say welcome to everyone that's following Terry on the live feed. We're trying something new tonight.
We just throwing it out there, see what happens.
Okay, Terry, the question was, do you feel that ham clubs are a necessity? Because, I mean, in all actuality, you can get a license and get on the radio. You don't have to be a member, okay? You don't. But how do you feel about ham clubs? Are they good? Are they bad? Are they a necessity? Go ahead, sir.
All right, W5PCJ. Now, the question. I think ham clubs are good. They foster relations between everybody that we normally just hear on the radio. We can put a face to a call sign. As far as a necessity, they're not a big necessity, but they fill a niche for new hams that don't have anybody to go to. You have someone that's just gotten into the hobby. They just bought a radio, a little handheld. They need someone to mentor them or elmer them. And that's where clubs can fill that niche. Also, if we have a young ham that comes to club and he needs help getting antennas up, this is where we can step in and offer that assistance and experience to help him understand where he could put it up and pros and cons of mounting that antenna in a certain place. And there's that. They're beneficial, and I would say they're not necessarily a necessity, but they sure do make life for a new ham a lot easier. And that's all I got. Back to net control. Man, need more Pepsi.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I agree with you. Not necessarily a necessity, but a real good tool when done correctly.
Okay, get the camera down. Thank you, guys. Let me see if I can take this camera down.
I believe in ham clubs. I'm glad that we've started one, and I hope this club goes a long, long way.
We're going to try this.
All right, let's move on to Robert, KJ5IZV. Are you still with us, sir? And what are
I'm
your
still in my
take
work
on
shirt,
ham
y'all.
clubs?
Yeah, it's bright. That's why the hat.
Yeah, I agree with Terry.
Trying to block it.
Being a new ham, I seem to learn something every time.
He dropped out. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. I'm going to work on getting a light that's in front of me aiming this way, because that
Robert,
is
I don't know
bright.
if you have a mic issue or a bad connection, but you keep cutting out. Are you still with us?
Y'all let me know if you can hear this okay. Mike, Donnie, anybody.
Yeah, what I was saying,
that should be coming through the radio, mostly.
Meeting.
I'm improvising, so work with me on it here. We're trying. Oh, let's see here. I wonder what this button here does. Oh,
Hey, Robert, you must have a radio issue. I'm getting about 3 or 4 seconds of your transmission, and it just drops out.
Damn that light. Wait a minute, I got an idea. Oh, hold on. I forgot my gesture goes up. There you go. Just knocked the whole light out.
Well, it didn't drop out that time.
Alright, user
Glass
error.
Jones, hello?
Yeah,
Glass Jones, I'm trying to think where I know you from.
Something out of it, whether that's
Wait a
a
minute, I
handout
think you're
or
from the Tina's,
just,
I think.
General discussion.
Shocking.
All right, well, that's good. That's what we like. We're all learning. Nobody knows everything.
Thank you,
There's
Mike
so
Hamlin.
much to learn in this hobby.
This is crude.
There's
You
so
know,
many
taking the boom
aspects
mic,
of it.
and moving
I've been
it.
doing it since the 90s, and I'm not going to lie, I'm learning. I mean, I don't know everything
Just
at all.
I'm trying to talk into this,
I mean,
and
you
this
ask
one's.
any half,
We're working the kinks out.
Same thing.
This
If
is
not,
new.
they're good.
We just said, you know what? Let's just run it and see what happens. And hello, Rick Smith. I see that.
All right, let's go to Jimmy. KJ5 IPG.
Kilo Charlie
What is
8
your take on
Sierra
Ham
Uniform
Radio
Media in
Club?
Ohio.
Go ahead.
Nice to meet you down here in Texas. We're just. This
Real
is our
quick
local
before I
net.
comment on that, Robert may be having a power issue battery, because when mine was doing
Thanks,
that
Mike.
before, that's what I found, that my battery was low on juice, and I could get about 5 to 10 seconds of transmission and it would cut out. Do you recall that, Kevin?
Let's see here.
I do.
That's the little
I
radio.
don't know what you got in the background, but
Well,
it's
actually,
loud. But anyway,
it's
I
the
do
head.
recall that, and I thought Robert was mobile,
The rest
but
of
that
it
doesn't mean he isn't having a radio
is
issue.
below the desk. And this is just a piece of bracketing from my job with a piece of hose for a stand. And just
Yeah,
click.
I'm mobile, and
There's
I'll
that.
confess I was hitting the wrong button.
back over there we go. Boom. There he goes.
All right, not a problem, sir.
Well,
Not a problem. All right, Jimmy, go
not
ahead,
bad.
sir, with
It's working.
how you
Crib, it's
feel about
working.
hand clubs.
And copy that. I actually think they are a necessity. You know, we're all amateur, but we do need some kind of structure. And
true.
the club brings structure to our amateurness, or whatever you would call it. And like Robert, I'm new to it,
That might be a
and
word.
everybody in that club has helped me out. Robert himself has helped me out with the little Wi-Fi programmer that he gave me. Gary has given me so much knowledge and ways to obtain that knowledge. When I just have a question, I got this book that I can open up and look at now. The Bradley. Terry gave me the push-up pole, but you had the other antenna. I didn't need the push-up pole. I gave it to him. And it's all because, we're in a club, we're meeting, and we're helping each other out. I think every ham needs that, to be honest with you.
Yep.
And I'll
It
turn it back
helps.
to you, KJ5 IBG.
It definitely helps. You gotta.
All
People
right,
help you
Jimmy,
out, get
I
going.
do agree. Everybody needs help at some point. Let's go to Gary, KI5LR. What are your thoughts, sir?
I wonder.
Ham clubs are very vital to the progression of amateur radio. If we didn't have them, we'll probably
True.
just go backwards, and next thing you know, it'd be another band like that other one that's been lost.
Sad idea.
There's multiple types of ham clubs. You have the official ARRL associated or affiliated clubs
I just thought about
that
something.
are pretty much by the book, follow the rules, meet, da-da-da-da-da. You also have groups of people that are...
That would
be a
kinda
ham
work for
club
my
that's
idea.
Totally unofficial, but you meet up for coffee on Saturday morning, and
True.
after coffee, you go get into trouble. The necessities of the ham club or the ham group, either one, is... now, I hope there's no wives with you. Sometimes
Too
the
late.
guy that gets the weekend doesn't get allowed to go work on his amateur radio craft and get
Yeah,
things
we'll turn that off
completed
for a minute.
before being interrupted for a honeydew or something. And having ham clubs and ham groups provides the avenue by which we can get together and go help somebody out by showing up at their house and their spouse wanting them gone and wanting everybody gone. So we they allow us to get things done and get things hooked up, antennas put up, and radios connected and problem solved so that they will get out of their hair. Ha ha ha. With that, I'm gonna turn it back to that control.
Ain't got no hair.
Okay, high five, Lawrence.
My wife supports me.
All right, Gary, thank you, sir. There's always a chuckle or two on our net, so I love it. All right, let's see if David is still around. KJ58WJ, David, are you still with us, sir? All right, I guess not. That's okay. Not a problem. All right, let's ask for any late check-ins or missed. Go ahead now. Come down.
Come on. This is where we ask for check-ins. You know, well, you already got that figured out.
All right, next question.
Not bad, though.
Very interesting question. You'll see why in just a minute.
Okay.
I recently heard some news about the FCC leaning toward deregulation. Someone told me that was more so on the commercial side.
Not necessarily.
Okay. Would that be an open door to the amateur side? And the question is, and Terry's going to get a chuckle, because I'm if the FCC pulled all license requirements.
Hey, Miss Virginia, tell Wes I said hi.
Interesting.
Oh, I see. He says
Terry,
hi.
W5
Hey, Bubba.
PCJ. What is your thoughts, sir?
All right, W5 PCJ and net control. I think deregulating the licensing part of our hobby might not be a good idea, because a lot of people are going to go to Amazon and grab a cheap handheld radio and kind of not know what they're doing, and it's going to cause a lot of accidental interference at first. And then, yeah, you may have some people that started on CB radio and they don't with no rules and regulations. It would get chaotic real fast, and this is not a good hobby with chaos injected into it like that. The structure gives us the provisions to not have that chaos, where it makes some sense. It has some order to it. It's like running a country with no laws. You know, it'll get crazy quick. Now, granted, we have a little bit of fun. We cut up and stuff within, the rules and regulations that we all abide by, because we studied a lot to get these licenses we have. And that's important to, we police ourselves, in other words, to try to keep it under control so it doesn't get crazy. Because if you've ever listened to modern CB radio, it's not something you want to have on in front of a small child, because they're going to hear stuff that's just rude, crude, and not something you want to get a phone call from the school that somebody said something they shouldn't have because they heard it over a CB radio. It's unregulated. So if you look at what amateur radio would be like unregulated, if that were to happen, grab a CB radio and put it on channel 6 or channel 19, and you'll get an idea. We need the regulations to keep the order in place. You got to have that, because without it, anything without order and structure, it falls apart. Like, try building a house with the roof first and then put the walls up. It's not gonna work well. So I think we need those rules and regulations to keep everybody in. And that's that. So I would think it's not a good idea. That's my comments. Back to net control. When you get your amateur license, there's rules you go by.
Well, I agree with you 100%. And to me,
because we studied
I'm not
together.
saying the FCC is going to do it. Okay, it just provoked a thought. When I saw that news.
It's thought provoking.
If that were to happen, it would be like a slap in the face to me
Yep.
and to every other licensed operator out there.
Right.
We take pride in this. We study.
Yeah.
We learn.
Yeah.
We buy equipment.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
try to be professional.
Or do a lot of
And
trading.
I did make the statement in the past.
Then I do a lot of trading with a trading company.
If the license requirement was pulled, I'm pulling down every antenna I got. Would I?
No,
Probably not
you
immediately.
wouldn't.
I'll probably stick around. I hope I don't ever have to make that decision. But chaos definitely would ensue. If you've ever been on a CB radio, you know what that would turn into.
Exactly.
So let's move on down the list to KJ5.
It would be
Hi,
cray-cray.
Robert, are you still there? Go ahead.
It would be Lunaticville.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Yeah, one of the main reasons that I was interested in ham is because you do have
Hope that's loud enough. He's having issues tonight. And I think he's got a timeout timer on the radio that's cutting him off prematurely. Or
Robert,
something's
you're dropping
getting
out
hot
again,
equipment on him. Good place to go, main trading company. All my equipment came from there, essentially. Well, except this one radio, the little ICOM ID880H. That came from my son down
All
there.
right, KJ5I, ZV, Robert, are you still there?
So he sent it up here, and it's now doing duty as the Ham Shack 2-meter rig. Yeah, that feller's
All
having
right,
some
let's move down to
problems.
Jimmy. KJ5, IBG, Jimmy. If all ham license requirements were pulled, would you stay in the hobby? Go ahead.
He would. We work too hard to get these licenses. He definitely.
I probably would, because there's still going to be that level of professionalism that some people aren't going to be able to obtain. And yeah, it's going to cause chaos, and it'll be chaotic for a while, but like everything, it will govern itself. Us that got our license, we can still display
now, I
that we are
skipped dinner to
licensed
do this.
radio
I'm about to go
operators.
eat here in a little bit.
So
Got
when
Chinese
there is
tonight.
something wrong and they need somebody to do it and do it correctly,
But for the love of the hobby,
you know,
and to
not
try to make this
everybody's
stuff
going to be able
happen,
to do it. Okay,
that's what we're
hey,
doing.
We need search and rescue. Are you licensed? I'm a radio operator. No, I'm not. Okay, well, you can't participate on your radio. You can help, but you're not allowed. They're still going to be governing on.
Yeah.
Do I think it's a bad thing? Yeah, I think it's a bad thing. But am I going to leave the hobby because of it? No. Because everybody buys guns, but I still like to go out and shoot. So, back to you.
Yeah, this is Texas. We're proud of our guns. They're like members of the family to some people. Let's see here.
All right, Jimmy, thank you.
Hello,
sir.
Leslie Kaderka.
Gary,
We'll see y'all at the Moon Reunion coming up in July, I believe it
You
is.
stay in the hobby. Gary, go ahead.
And I'm gonna bring a radio.
No, I would not.
Real simple
I would
setup.
get rid of
I'm
everything
gonna bring
from
one.
here down to the last PL
I'm gonna bring
259
one.
before the.
I don't know what to tell you yet.
Worthless.
I got some portable
That's
stuff.
what happened to the CD band.
I'm gonna bring something.
They didn't regulate it, and it went to crap.
Yep.
And it is absolutely useless.
Yep.
There is no use for the CD band because of people to get on and just cause
Hey, cousin.
malicious interference with everybody.
Man.
And that's just the bottom line to that.
Yep.
I don't think the FCC is
I
going
hope-
to try to deregulate and just turn everybody loose.
I hope
There's
not.
a bigger organization that regulates all this. Is the International Calligraphy Union. You got to remember, amateur radio and radio in general is a worldwide network.
Yeah.
In the U.S., we have a few amateur radio operators, but nothing like the rest of the world. And the rest of the world is highly regulated. So I don't think the FCC is going to be able to just say, there, y'all do what you want to.
I would hope not.
Because internationally, they will enforce
Yep.
the rules. to
They
be
would
in
laugh
place.
at us.
And we may end up just losing
Be
all
like,
of
oh,
it,
it's an
period.
American. It's chaotic.
But no, I don't think I was saying it if they want to just turn it free.
He probably would.
All right, thank you, Gary. Yeah, like I said, I don't think it would come to that, but when I heard that, it provoked a thought in my head.
Thought provoking.
Coming from CB radio and knowing what could happen, I'm like, no. And I told Terry, I said, I am not going to be a part of a bunch of CB radio Rambos. But anyway, let's
super
move along.
The crazy side,
late
man.
check-ins, like to check in, come down.
This is what we do on Wednesday nights in East Texas.
All right, next question. Almost personal. If you don't want to answer it, you don't have to. I'm not trying to make this personal. I'm just trying to make it thought-provoking. Okay. The question is, do you feel that you're doing your part to further this hobby? In other words, are you carrying your own weight? I mean, that's what we're about, is to further this hobby, right?
I always carry my weight. I
Terry,
got two
W5 PCJ. Go ahead, Terry.
W5 PCJ and air control. Yeah, I always carry my weight out. God gave me 2 legs, and I carry it. And sometimes really have to strain on the holidays, but I carry my weight. I do my part in the hobby best I can, whether we're trying something crazy new here on the live stream or running amateur radio newsline for the first time. Very crude setup. I mean, this is redneck ingenuity 101. And this is why a lot of guys will run a mixer to do this stuff more professional. So I got plans. If this is successful, I've got plans to do this a little bit better. I might even go as far as to buy a nice webcam off of Marketplace, which she'll probably not. No, I'll buy that new. But as vice president of this club, I try to, I yak it up on radio all the time. You guys know that. It's like, for me, it's like daily. Coffee and radio, I'm good. The YL definitely adds to that. This was actually her idea to live stream, and we're eventually going to expand this further, and we're gonna do a tickety talk or TikTok or whatever they call that with the clock sound effects. Ticker talk, TikTok. And if they ever bring back MySpace, what the heck? Some people say that the internet and this social media that I'm streaming on has hurt the hobby. My thing is, why not use it to, fight fire with fire? Why not use this to promote the hobby? Why not? What do we got to lose? And judging by the number of people that are watching online in different parts of the state and over in Ohio, one gentleman there, and Mike King up in Maryland, Joe's brother. Hope he's keeping him in check. This is working, and this is crude setup. I mean, I got my phone running, and I'm using the mic on the phone, so it's not ideal, but it's working. So I promote the hobby by driving a vehicle that's got a lot of antennas on it that can't do drive-throughs, unless I tenorize it, which means take out the big whip, so she can go through drive-throughs, and I don't got to worry about nothing in order to see. But the hobby, running the magnetic sound on the back of the truck that promotes our club. That's my contribution. Just, try not to time out this repeater. Back to net control. Whew, that was close. That was close.
Right there.
That was close.
Thank you, sir. Robert, KJ5IZ, are you still with us?
I am, sir. I feel like I'm not quite pulling my weight, but I'm slowly working at it. And
You keep trying. You find your niche. Yeah.
Well, let's rephrase the question then. Since you're so early in your ham career, I guess you could say, do you feel that we as a club are doing our part to further this hobby?
I bet you he says yes, to some effect. If he comes back. He's having radio issues. He's a good ways from this repeater.
All right, I know I'll put you on the spot there. You got anything else? If not, we'll move on.
I'm getting ready to move on that Chinese food here pretty quick.
Kevin, I think I missed. Did you hear me?
Oh, hello, K9DOG. My little
Yes,
Shih Tzu
sir,
here.
I can hear you. I think you might have, I don't know what you got going, but it's just dropping out, and I never know if you're done with
That's
you're
my bullet.
transmitting or not. It just
Now,
goes
if I take
away.
this from him and try to throw it, he'll want to catch it.
I'll shorten it
Say
up.
hi,
Yeah, I
Bullet.
feel
You're on
like,
you're on the
I'm on my
internet.
way, but,
You're on the interwebs, buddy.
Gotta get better. And
Go get it.
More educated on
He
it.
wants to go get it. I gotta let him go. Buddy, you all right?
Copy that. Yeah, you're doing a good job, Robert.
My
I know
furry
it's all
sidekick.
good to you. But we all start somewhere. All right, let's move down to Jimmy, KJ5IBG. I'm going to lay this out. Are you doing your part? Go ahead, sir.
Oh, that's what it sounds like to get called out on radio.
I'm trying. I believe. Whether I think I'm pulling my weight or not, I really can't answer that 100%. I got a lot of stuff to learn. I try to help when I can. Being a part of this club was,
Hey, buddy.
is, I kind of stepped up in a role so that we could get the club going. I felt
Yeah.
like, I
Ron Hamilton
I
and
feel
Brad
myself
Lowe. Hey,
out there
guys.
to help with that.
Hello
So
from
I
East
feel really
Texas,
proud
from
about doing
Nacogdoches.
that. And I'm really
It's our
proud
local
how the club's
2-meter
going.
repeater now.
We're still slow. We're still
For the,
early in the process. As we get more, we will
Hold on.
be, responsible for more. And one thing I've learned,
Yep.
and I've tried timing it on Robert's radio, his timeout, radio timeout may be set really low. That's because he's not getting any more or any less before he cuts out. It's all the same time frame. So I think they be his radio timeout early.
Could be.
On that, I think that's all the comments I got, Kevin. I'll pass it on to the next one. Back to you, KJ5IBG.
Now, if you guys like this live stream
All right,
stuff,
Jimmy. Yeah, I thought about
we'll do it more regularly.
His timeout
Come on,
timer
boy,
might
give me
be
that.
set just like 3 or 4 seconds.
Golly, boy, you got a
That's
fire.
possible.
He's fighting me.
But,
Won't give me
yeah, Jimmy, I think you stepped up pretty well being new to the hobby. You got to get this club going.
Boy, you won't let go for nothing.
Without hesitation.
Okay, tug of war. All right.
I think we're all,
It's on.
for the most part, doing what we can to further this
He got me.
Let's go to Gary. KF5LR. What are
Hey,
your
man.
comments, sir?
Wildness
Well,
alive.
I've been an amateur radio operator for 35 years. And I had pushed the cart, pulled the cart, shoved the cart up the hill, got it out of the ditch a few times. I'm tired. Am I pulling my weight now? I don't know. Y'all tell me. I pulled a lot of weight in the past. I've made donations to libraries out of my back pocket to get books in the hands of kids that seem to be interested. A couple of them have some hands. I've done a lot of speaking to different groups and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Hobby.
Is there any fruit that come out of that? Not enough to really fuss about, but I have pushed. Anyway, that's my old grumpy, tired opinion. Cal5LR back to net.
We are working to get our
All
chickens
right,
higher
Gary, we
on the radio.
appreciate
So
you. It's time for you to kind of sit
And
back
this
and let
is-
us young ones run with it for a
this
while.
is kind of how
I
we're going
guess.
to try to do
I
that.
think you've done your part and still trying. All right, let's ask for any late check-ins. Come now.
I don't even know what time it is here yet. Uh-oh. 10 minutes to go and Terry gets to eat.
All right, we just have a few more questions. We're pushing 50 minutes here, so we're doing well.
Not bad,
All right.
not bad.
Another
This
question.
works.
Do
Crude, but
you
it works.
prefer modern gear over vintage gear?
Oh,
Interesting question. Let's go
Well.
to Terry. W5 PCJ. Terry, which one do you prefer? Do you like old school gear or do you like it modern? Go ahead.
W5 PCJ. I like the modern gear because of the conveniences of it and the abilities they have. And when you want to go do like a portable activation, like at a park where park's on the air, the modern gear is a lot easier to lug around. Take for example, let's say you have a piece of vintage gear from circa 1981, a Kenwood TS520 tube type radio, big radio. It's happy at home on a desk. You know, after carrying that around and going portable a few times, I think that'll kind of wear you down. Now, the newer radios, you know, I have a Yaesu FT710 Field Edition. That's the one without the fancy matching speaker. And it can do everything that TS520 can do, and a bunch more. And it's lightweight. It's not very heavy at all. Prior to that, I used to take my FT891. Prior to that, FT857. These are all Yaesus because that brand seems to be the most inexpensive, you know, decent quality radio that you can get these days. Sure, Kenwood and ICOM are very nice, but so is that price tag. So I stick with the Yaesu gear. And yeah, some of y'all know I do a lot of my business with Main Trading Company because the guy, Richard Lenore, has always treated me well. When you're blue collar, literally, it's helpful. But I prefer the modern gear for convenience and ease of operation. But yeah, there's a certain mystique in terms of the older gear that you can't get out of a modern radio. But the age, you know, unless you're able to keep that piece of equipment up yourself, it can get one boo-boo and you're off the air for a while until you can find someone to do the repair work, and that's not always convenient depending on where you live. Here in Texas, there's not a lot of places to go to get a radio repaired. There's places in San Antonio that they do a lot of the repair work for Main Trading Company, for example, out of Paris, Texas. But there's the gist of having to send it to one place and hope it doesn't get damaged in shipping and get it back, unless you can fix it yourself. But if you can't fix it yourself, then yeah, you're going to be wishing you had some newer gear, and you're going to be out there a while, or running at reduced power, or having issues that you're just going to have to tolerate. But the vintage gear has a certain mystique. I mean, it's where this all started. Back in the day, you had a separate receiver, a separate transmitter. Now we have a transceiver, which is both combined. And with the modern equipment and components inside, they have shrunk down considerably. So I kind of lean toward the new gear for just convenience, you know. So, but the old gear has a certain charm, no doubt. That's all I got. W5 PCJ, back to net control. We got a few more minutes to go.
All right, thank you, Terry. Hey, yeah, I am split right down the middle. I love the modern gear, the convenience of a small package, external displays, built-in tuners, yada, yada, yada.
Alexander,
the sound quality.
that's my guy out there in Florida. We worked each other on 20 meters.
Old school vintage
Hello,
gear.
Alexander, my friend.
I love the knobs and the switches all laid out right in the front.
This is our local 2-meter net here in East Texas.
It's soothing.
Out of Lufkin, Texas. I'm in Nacogdoches, Texas.
All right, we need to move along here. Robert, KJ5IZV, what is your take on vintage compared to modern gear?
Yep. W7HU from W5PCJ. A little a virtual QSO, virtual contact. We're going to start live streaming these nets. I gotta work on how I run the audio as far as not using the phone, microphone, but getting a mixer and doing this.
Robert, thank you, sir. We're
a little bit better.
Your radio for a timeout timer. Let's
So
go to Jimmy.
This is just a crude, quick dry run, see what it does. And so far, not bad. All right, Leslie, I'll see you at the reunion, cuz. See you in just a few months.
Well, I don't know how
I'll bring a radio.
vintage I can say my stuff is.
And,
that icon.
we'll see what happens.
Carry, with the buttons and the little knobs and the potentiometers, the slide-up potentiometers.
Oh, yeah. Older gear.
I really like that. I like the vintage. Even this Kenwood, I know it's pretty old. It belongs to Randy, so I don't think it's new, but it's not old either. Handhelds.
She's kind of looking at my beautiful YL
the Bluetooth
girlfriend down the hall. Got her hair done today. Looks,
I love it.
She's rocking it.
The handhelds for sure.
I'm a blessed man.
Now,
Very blessed.
For base stations or mobile
Did I
units.
say I was blessed?
I like
Good
that
woman
older
down the hall.
Kenwood versus that new.
And this streaming was all her idea.
Anytone.
And she'll help me refine it, I know, because she's got my back.
Glitch out on me. But I'm torn between the two. I like them both. Old is always better. You can always rely on something a little older that doesn't have to have digital. If your screen goes out, you can turn the knob.
This is true until the components of that old radio finally just wear out. That's my
All right, Jimmy, thank you. Yeah, you brought up another thought. I am split right down the middle with the tabletop bass units, but when it comes to HTs, I am 100% modern. Because back in the day, and Gary and Terry both
radio like this, the one I just showed earlier,
were like carrying
for
around
like under $50.
I kid you not, some of them were 10, 12 inches
Bluetooth
tall.
programmable, really
It was
convenient.
just like pull your britches down heavy. And I'm not about that, none whatsoever. So my HTs would be modern, but I'm split right in the middle on the home station. So let's go to Gary, KI5LR. Gary, what do you prefer?
Well, I kind of like stuff that works.
This is
on
important.
The old gear, I've got an old Kenwood 520 back here, and if I had enough patience, I could go through it and replace a few parts and pieces in it that would make it receive better.
If you know how to.
It is old. It has that wonderful, great Kenwood audio in it, but its receiver, like me, is a little bit on the deaf side. Do I want something that came out in 2024 to put on the table and replace it in 2 years? No. That 735 was running pretty good, but I ended up with some issues with it. You pop the lid on that, Jimmy, and you'll look in there and you will go, oh my God, I can't fix this. It's just little bitty tiny stuff.
This is true.
So I've got a more modern 590SG, and I do like it, but I don't like a 100-piece menu to try to find an adjustment. I like being able to reach up and grab that knob. So I don't know. Do I like new equipment versus old equipment? I'm old and contrary on that one too. So I'm kind of in the middle. Back to that.
Oh, that light.
All right, thank you, Gary. Yeah, I think we all kind of right there in the same spot with that. All right, it's pushing 9 o'clock. We're going to wrap up. We're going to call for one last call for check-ins. If anyone's available and like to check in, come now.
Yeah, we went for about an hour trying to get this very active.
All right, hearing none. Are there any further comments for the net? If not, we're going to close the net. Any comments, come down.
Hey, KJ5, Victor. I just want to appreciate moving the time up.
Yeah, his timeout timer's giving him a problem. There's a device in the radio that prevents you from talking over a certain length of time. That's a timeout
All right,
timer.
Robert, we appreciate you checking in.
His is probably set
we
too
need to
short.
figure out what's going on with your radio there. I'm sure we can get it figured out. But yeah, we appreciate you for sure checking in, my friend.
Yep, in just one night we have gone up on our check-ins, and
All
here
right,
too.
any further comments, come down.
So this is good. This is good.
KJ5 IBG.
See,
All right, go ahead, Jim.
Jimmy, myself, and our club president Kevin.
I'd just like to say,
We all work
it
together.
was short-lived, with David, and we keep having to guess if Robert lost him or if he just timed out. It was nice to hear strange voices in the net.
Yep, some new people.
Yes, sir, that is our goal. We are trying to change some things up, and it's a work in progress for sure.
Yeah,
Finding out what
Such
works,
is the
what
hobby.
doesn't work. I'm not sure if the news thing is going to be a hit, but
maybe.
the Facebook Live, I'm sitting here watching it. I believe that's going to be a hit. So we've learned stuff. We moved it up to 8. Maybe that's going to help. But anyway, it's all a work in progress. So, are there any further comments? Come down.
What is this? Echolink would be nice.
All right, we're going to close the net. Thank
We'll look
you
into
for
that.
participating in the Angelina Amateur Radio Association Roundtable Net. We will now return this repeater back to normal amateur use. This net is now closed.
9 o'clock,
This is
straight up.
Kevin, your net control station, N3PAW. Net is closed at 9:01.
Good net, W5PCJ, and I'm going to go heat my Chinese food up and go see what's on YouTube. 7-3, everybody. And I'm about to drop this live stream.
All right, 7-3, Terry. Thank you for checking in.
So, guys, thanks for joining us. Hit me up on Messenger, give me ideas, and
Maybe
how I
the
can
news
refine
wasn't
this.
a bad idea, but maybe not at the first. We could save it for the closing.
We'll see what happens.
Like, okay, net, we're about to close. We'll finish off with the news of the week or something.
All right, guys,
that might be
let's see
something
how I
to
shut
try.
this thing down. Okay,
Well, I'm not against
I think I hit that button right
I think
there.
the audio
See y'all
quality
later.
wasn't